After the Titanic, if people had faith in any ship, it was the MV Explorer. This was the world's first cruise ship specially built to navigate ice. Its performance was so good that it set a record by rescuing several ships in Antarctica. However, on the night of November 23, 2007, an incident occurred with this ship in the dark and desolate Southern Ocean that left it alone in the middle of the sea. It became the captain's compulsion to abandon it in the midst of the ocean. Until 1960, a journey to Antarctica through the sea route was considered nearly impossible because the sea there used to be filled with ice. In such a situation, taking a normal ship there was inviting death. But a Swedish-American businessman, Eric Lindblad, accepted it as a challenge and decided to build a ship that could easily travel to Antarctica. For people who dreamt of seeing Antarctica, this was a way to fulfill their dream. For this purpose, a special ship was prepared, which was more than 240 feet long and weighed over 2,300 tons. This ship was named the Lindblad Explorer. If we compare it to the famous ships in history like the Titanic or the RMS Olympic, it was smaller, but in terms of strength it had no answer. It was the first cruise ship made with the purpose of taking passengers on a tour of the icy waters of Antarctica. Normally, regular ships couldn't do this task. If ships ever had to go through icy seas, icebreakers were used ahead of them. The ship, classified as Ice Class 1A, was designed in a way that it didn't require an icebreaker to navigate through the snow. Its design allowed the ship's weight to break through the snow. It accommodated 104 passengers and 54 crew members, not only with luxury facilities but also with a double-layered hull to protect it from the Antarctic ice. Initially named Lindblad Explorer, its ownership changed over time, with Gap Adventures purchasing it in 2004, renaming it MV Explorer. By 2007, it had successfully completed 250 voyages to Antarctica. However, its journey in November 2007 would take it on an unprecedented trip, one from which it would never return. Starting from Ushuaia, Argentina, the ship was set for a 19-day voyage, seemingly under normal circumstances, unaware of the impending challenge. Captain Bank Wyman, a seasoned seafarer of 49 years, was in command. They had sailed ships through these snow-filled seas thousands of times, and it was this experience that made the passengers feel secure. However, Antarctic ship captains, no matter how experienced they are, face various challenges due to the changing conditions there. At the start of this journey, Captain Bengt Wyman made a surprising decision. He wanted to take the ship on a new route, deviating from their planned route, believing that doing so might help them avoid areas with heavy snow and reach their destination safely. Everything was going smoothly for the first 10 days, just as expected. But on the evening of November 22nd, the sun was setting, and passengers were preparing to retire to their cabins. It was during this time that MV Explorer entered an area with a considerable amount of snow. The captain announced that they were passing through a snowy area, so due to repeated collisions with the snow, there might be some noise and everyone would have to endure this through the night due to darkness. To mitigate this, the captain reduced the ship's speed to just 5 knots, meaning the ship was moving slowly, trying to navigate through the thicker and older layers of snow-covered regions almost 10 kilometers away. However, the captain had no idea because it was already 10 p.m., and nothing much was visible. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, the ship came to a jarring halt with a loud noise. At first, no one understood what was happening, but it soon became evident that the ship had collided with a massive pile of hard snow. Since the captain had already made the announcement, many passengers didn't pay attention to the noise and continued sleeping. After a while, the captain successfully maneuvered the ship again. MV Explorer was once more progressing through the snow-covered icy waters. But neither the captain nor the passengers aboard the ship knew that a breach had occurred in the ship's hull, and water was slowly accumulating in the lower compartments of the ship. The sleeping passengers woke up when water began seeping into their cabins because their cabins were located in the lower part of the ship. Seeing this sudden deluge, a wave of panic swept through the passengers. Everyone began running in all directions to save themselves. Water was now infiltrating every possible space on the ship. whether through light switches, duct bends, or cracks in the doors. By the time the captain became aware of this, several cabins had already filled with water. Initially, they thought it might be a minor damage that could be controlled. However, as the water pressure continued to rise, the captain realized that things were spiraling out of control. The captain promptly gave the order to evacuate the ship and decided to deploy all lifeboats. Meanwhile, the ship had already moved away from the snowy region, but due to the water accumulation, it tilted to one side. Crew members were busy emptying the ship and rescuing human lives. The ship was 46 kilometers away from its destination, and reaching the destination with the damaged ship was impossible. On the other hand, another issue was the Antarctic Sea being extremely cold due to the snow, making it impossible for the lifeboats to stay there for long. Therefore, the captain started sending SOS signals to the nearby ships, National Geographic Endeavour and Nord-Norge. But these ships were quite far, and it was impossible for them to arrive immediately. Slowly, water started accumulating in MV Explorer's separator room, where all the ship's machinery was housed, the room that powered the entire ship. With water flooding this room, all electricity on MV Explorer was cut off. In the midst of the snowy Antarctic waters, MV Explorer was now standing completely alone in pitch darkness. The engines had shut down, leaving the ship at the mercy of the ocean waves. While the captain was concerned about evacuation, another worry troubled him. If the ship's engine wasn't restarted, the strong winds and waves could push the ship back into the snowy regions. Attempts were made manually to restart the engines due to electrical failure, and fortunately, this idea worked, and the engine started running again. Crew members expedited the process of emptying the ship, and soon, all passengers boarded the lifeboats and descended into the cold waters. For a while, the captain and a few crew members tried to steer the ship straight, but the engines failed once more. Water was rapidly filling MV Explorer, and a quick decision was imperative. Hence, the captain and some crew members boarded the lifeboats, leaving over 150 people waiting for help in the frigid ocean beneath the open sky. The chilly air made their wait extremely difficult. This wait continued for the next 4 hours until one by one, ships arrived to rescue them. The ship that arrived to rescue them was the Nord-Norge, to which the captain had sent an SOS call. Everyone was successfully saved, but it was destined for MV Explorer to sink. An investigation team was formed to look into the incident, revealing that it was due to Captain Bengt Wyman's mistake. He had mistakenly taken the ship into an area he thought had thin, one-year-old snow, whereas it was actually a thick layer of snow that was several years old. Today, MV Explorer rests at a depth of 1,300 meters, 25 miles southeast of shipwreck Penguin Island.